What up, boys?
Hey, bro,
Hey.
only one beanie guy in this thing here.
Oh yeah, let's go. I know. Yep. It's good luck, man. What's going on?
How you doing, bro?
Chilling, just same old, trying to figure out. My in-laws were just over, so they were making us some food, which is cool. So
nice.
All's been good so far. Can't complain.
What'd you guys have for dinner?
She makes so my wife is half Jewish, so her mom makes like this brisket thing that is like apparently like a traditional sort of like Jewish Hanukkah thing, and it's fucking awesome. To be honest with you, it's like this.
Brisket is
not like barbecue. It's like a slow cooked thing, and like a bunch of sauce, some carrots in there.
Brisket's
awesome.
very versatile. So like obviously, I think first we mostly think of it as like a Texas barbecue.
100%.
Like,
and I love
there's
that's like my favorite thing.
Jewish variation of it, like
totally different.
With my girlfriend's family, who I'm with right now, like for Christmas, we're doing brisket as well, and it's a little bit of the Tex-Mex, but there's just like, I don't know, brisket finds its way into more places than you would think. And I know, like, I have cousins that are Jewish that I'm always like, especially now living in Texas, it's like this doesn't seem like this is it's not correlating to me.
They're not even remotely the same. I mean, I love them both equally, but they're not even remotely the same. And she'll do like the like the latkes with the applesauce and the sour cream, and then we do the challah bread and all that stuff. And this is like all new to me, since I've like met my wife. But like, it's fucking great food, man. I'll take it. It's all good.
Do you guys do like the every night, like light the menorah, like some type of?
She did when she was like a kid, but I don't know. They're not like religious Jewish. They're just kind of like culturally Jewish. And
this is every Jewish person. I was gonna say every Jew, but every Jewish person in my life is exactly that way. Where it's like, I don't think any of them have ever been to like temple, but they'll do all of the cultural stuff, very prideful. And it's like, I don't know. It's always an interesting like connection to me that it's like you're so culturally invested, but the religious side is very much like secondary.
I mean, the stuff is cool, man. Like if we're eating brisket and hanging out and you're getting gifts for what 8-10 nights in a row, like it could be worse. There could be worse things to give up. So like because like me, I grew up like Catholic. My parents are. And I went to church for like most of my life, and then I kind of like went to college and just I never really had a connection to it. So I just but I still celebrate Christmas, like we still do all that stuff, and it's technically there's the religious thing behind it. But even though I'm not like going to Sunday midnight mass on Christmas night or something like that, but it is what it is. But so take the pieces of the tradition.
Let me ask you, because we were also raised Catholic. I haven't gone to church in a decade.
Yeah, it's
At what point would you say you just like kind of stopped going to church? It was just
it's funny. I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. So through high school, certainly, and I was never like, oh, this is weird. But then, I went to college and I would come back home. I definitely didn't go in college to church or anything like that, but I would still have considered myself like, oh yeah, I'm Catholic, whatever, because you're still so close to it. Once college is over, like you can as an adult do this stuff and you just choose not to. I'm like, oh, I can't. I feel like I'm a poser if I call myself a Catholic, right? I'm really not. So probably that, like once I was like on my own and like choosing actively to not go, and it's one of those things like to each their own. I just never really had a connection to anything, and I didn't really find that out until I was probably in college, that I really didn't, I didn't necessarily care about anything that was going on in church. And if that's good for you, then do you. I don't have any issue with it. But like, I just personally didn't have that. And it took me probably until I was in my early 20s to be like, this is kind of weird. And my parents like aren't super pushy, but
do your parents still go to church and stuff?
They do. Yeah, they do. But I have two younger sisters, and neither, both of them are kind of, so my parents kind of get it. Like they're just like, oh, they kind of grew out of it. It's like a bad way to say it, but they kind of understand it. But
with your sisters, they didn't want to invest the time. Like we saw what happened with Steve. We don't want to go through this again.
I mean, I think honestly, like it's kind of sad in some ways, but like it's also understandable. I think a lot of kids, like people our age, I don't say kids, but like people who grew up in like that thing, were like, oh yeah, we just go to, like my dad, for example. I always say this, like, my dad's he's gone to church because like that's his life for like 60 years, right? And his parents did that, and like he did that. So like I wouldn't consider him religious. He just goes to church. Like that's just what you do.
And my dad is too.
Like it's just, and that wasn't really part of like our thing. So I just didn't feel like I've always. I guess I didn't need it. I didn't feel like I need. And then if people need it, it's all good, man. Do your thing, whatever makes you happy and whatever. But I felt like more of a poser to be like, oh yeah, like I'm a Catholic, or I'm going to church. Like, dude, I'm going to church, because I remember growing up, like you used to always talk about those people that would only go like 4 times a year. They go for Christmas, Easter, whatever. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those people. Like I'm either going to go or not going to go, and I'm not going. So there you go. It's been decided.
Did you play CYO sports? Did you?
No, I never did. I went to like CCD though. Like we did the the catechism and all that stuff. But no, I always played like we had like rec leagues and stuff in the town. But No, it wasn't that intense. That would be funny though. But I have hooped at like a Jewish center before, and those are actually intense runs from time to time. But no, I never actually went.
That's so Greg and I have been in a couple basketball leagues out in Austin. The time we played at the JCC was I think probably one of the better leagues that we played in.
Was it like a tiny gym too? Whatever the gym I used to play in was like half the size. It's like 94 feet. Do the math, cut it in half, like 40, whatever, 48. It was so small. So like,
dude,
it's actually kind of awesome because you're
JCC,
not really running as much.
Yeah, every JCC I ever been in, it's been like a half-size court. That's hilarious.
What's funny is like it's like pickleball to tennis, right? It's like easier to play because you're not as much running. Like there's not such athleticism. Like this is awesome. Because one of the things like I talk about this with Priscilla because he still plays hoops all the time and I don't. One because I just don't have like a crew of people anymore that I could play with. Yeah. And I'm not kind of like, hey, just show up at the park and just like play with randoms. But like, you know, when I was fresh out of college and I was playing at the Y like almost every day because I was working weird hours, like I was in good shape, like running around. I was a pretty good player. Then I stopped kind of playing. And it's not even that, like, yes, the skill gap is there because, like, you know, the dribble, the handle is obviously not as tight as it once was. The jump shot's bad. But it's more of like, I used to be able to run for like hours and be fine. And now, like,
you're a soccer guy too, and the soccer guys always have the stamina.
Man, no, I don't have it. I'll tell you what, like playing pickup soccer is fun because like I didn't play growing up, so I'm like kind of terrible at it. But it's like a good just get a run in. But holy shit, man, you like if you're playing full field soccer, which I've done a couple times, that is like playing five-a-side is cool because like you do like what we do is we take like a bench, right? There's no goalie and there's no like actual shots in the air. You have to like shoot everything on the ground. It's really fun because there's not a ton of sprinting. It's most like quick twitch movement stuff.
Yeah. Don't they have those indoor ones too? That are like futsal or whatever. Indoor. I think it's called futsal.
Indoor to me, I played in a league at ESPN and it wasn't like a super competitive league, but there were kids that played in college and dude, indoor is like harder almost than outdoor for someone who's like a noob or a novice because you have to have so much skill on your feet indoors because you have such a better feel for the ball. And there's so much more like dribbling and like tricks and like whatever and like lateral movement. Whereas like, you know, you can get Mbappe, like, dude, that's just, I mean, not that he's not skilled, but he could just sprint down the side as fast. He's a great athlete. Yeah. You don't really have to be a great athlete indoor. You have to be, it's all skill based. And like, I had no skill. So I was just kind of like an energy guy, like try to stay in front of people. But because we had a couple kids that played in college and they were like, even those guys, the skill level between them and like us was so big that it was like, all right, you guys just like try to, if you get the ball, give it right back to me and don't try to fuck anything up. That was pretty much what we would do.
You mentioned playing hoops with Priscilla or that he still hoops. So how tall is he?
He's 6'2", I think.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Damn. Like
his dad's tall too.
Whenever he would like talk about his height, like for some reason I thought he was short. And then like he would mention that he was tall, and I thought he was like always joking about being tall, and it was just like a running thing.
You thought it was like a Shea Serrano type, like
exactly.
No, he's actually legit. He's a legit 6'2". Yeah, his dad, because his dad played hoops actually in Connecticut at University of Hartford. Okay, I think he's 6'5", so he's like a big height guy, and it's funny because Kyle's like 6'4", 6'5". Ryan's 6'2", and I'm here just trying to scrape it at top like 5'10", which I don't even think. Which is funny because my dad is short. My dad's like 5'8", my mom's 5'5", my two sisters are 5'5" and below, and somehow
you're the giant of the family.
Somehow I got the 5'10", man. That's all. I'm happy with it. I'm not one of those guys like 6 feet. Like I want to be 6 feet. I'm happy at 5'10", dude.
Yeah, that's kind of like my family. I'm almost 6 feet. I'm like 5'11" and a half. On Tinder and everything, I was 6 feet for sure. But
that's the roundup. That's the acceptable roundup, right?
You put the sneakers on. You're 6 foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my dad's like 5'9". My brother's barely 5'9", and then my mom's like 5'2". But I'm somehow tall. But all my cousins are huge. Yeah, all my cousins are like 6'3" and above.
Oh damn. Yeah. See, I have random family. Like I have an uncle who's like 6'2", two uncles who are like 6'2", but for the most part, small family. So it's like, you know, if I had a boy, we had a girl. If I had a boy, I mean, I don't know, man. He's probably gonna be trending short, which, you know, I guess we'll cross the bridge when we get there. But it doesn't matter as much when you have a girl.